Hello, 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 YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Therapy with your girl Ebony. Today want to go ahead and kind of jump right into it, but of course, first let's go over our shirt ensemble shoes for today. So, I have on another creation of Mental Health Matters in 3 different colors to match my Air Max that are purple, red, and white. And of course, my bag of choice, my all multicolored backpack from Coach. Every year they do have a Pride selection that they put out. And so if you don't catch it or get it in that year or that season, it becomes unavailable. So, during the different times of the year, Pride Coach puts out certain collections and selections, and because I love colors, of course, I had to have that backpack. So, now let's get situated, get settled in, and get started on today's topic and where we're going with our Real Talk Therapy today as we continue to talk about addictions, the cause of them, the root of it, if it's severe, if it is mild, moderate, and some things we can do to, first of all, recognize if we have one, and then recognize the steps of what we need to do to manage it or, turn away from it. And yesterday we talked a lot about being addicted to chasing the thrill, or the thrill of trying to get something that we know we aren't supposed to have, or you shouldn't be doing in that time, and then you've become excessive with things that could ultimately destroy you. And as promised, I told you guys today we were going to talk a little bit about enabling. And enabling are the people who either introduced you to the drug, or introduced you to the person that you're addicted to, or took you to your first casino, or gambled with you your first time, that showed you your first porn, if there's a sex addiction, or that set you down at your first buffet and let you go all in and didn't try to stop you and teach you how to do things in moderation. Those people become what we call in substance abuse treatment, those people become enablers. And so today I'm going to tell you a fable, one I'm sure that you guys have all heard before in life. But like I said, you can't get the twist of any of these stories like you will get it here on Real Talk Therapy. So today we're going to look at and talk about the little boy who cried wolf. And I'm pretty sure everybody has heard that fable at some point in your life. And before we go into the story, it was originally told to little children to keep them from telling lies or fibs or whatever you want to call it, to teach them that they should always tell the truth. And so today's twist on that is in line with that. But I'm going to take you a little further, because we're not going to focus so much on the little boy who cried wolf as we're going to focus on the people who came every time that he cried. Okay? So the story goes, there's this little boy, we don't know where to set in town, whatever, but there's this little boy who thought it was funny to run into town and tell everybody, oh, it's a wolf, a wolf is coming, a wolf is coming, or a wolf is getting me, or whatever he was saying. And all of these people went rushing to him because he's crying out, he's in danger. So you just imagine all your town folk running to help this kid, and by the time they get to him, he's laughing. Okay? Now, this is the first time that he's cried out. He's laughing because it's a joke to him. He didn't take it seriously. He just wanted to get the people stirred up and see if they would come running to his rescue. So, for argument's sake, each time the story is told, we never ever really know how many times this little boy cried wolf, or how many times some of the same people went running to his rescue. Okay? So that's the part I want y'all to get. So when he cries out the next time, I like to imagine that some of the same people that went the first time and knew that it was a joke when they heard this cry of desperation a second time, some of those same people went running. But then there had to be some new people who had never heard this little boy cry out before. They could have been at work or out of town or whatever. And they hear him crying. So now we run into his rescue and we get here to help you. And you're laughing. So now, just for time's sake and to get this thing moving, we're going to say in today's intervention, in today's session, in today's conversation, in today's real talk, we're going to say that this same little boy cried out for help from this wolf at least 10 times. And when we're talking about enablers, there's going to be somebody that went to rescue this little boy the first time he cried out. And there's that some of those same people that went the first time are going to go the second time, third time, and they're even going to show up the 10th time. Because even though they knew from the first cry, he wasn't really in need of help. He didn't really want help. He's just crying out because it was a joke to him. In their minds, what would happen if the wolf really was there and I didn't go? Okay? Now, we know the story goes on to say eventually this little boy cried out for help and nobody went, and guess what? The wolf was there and ate his little tail up. But because he had cried and cried and cried, I want help. I need your help. I want to get off these drugs. I want to stop gambling. I want to stop being a fool for this person. I want to stop, smoking crack. I want to stop drinking. I want to stop taking pills. I want to stop, watching this porn and being addicted to this. I want to stop all of this. And I'm crying out for help. But every time the help shows up, I dismiss it as though it was a joke. And when you're talking about an addict, there's going to be that one time where you're going to cry out and you really need help. And even those that enabled you from the first time you asked for help, all the way down to the 10th time that you asked for help, but you didn't really want to accept the help. And when you finally cried out for that last time and you really needed help because that last hit of that crack or that last pill that you popped or that last drink that you took or that last desperation of wanting somebody to love you weighed so heavy on your mind, you decided to take your life, or that last dollar you put in the machine was going to cost you everything that you had worked hard for, or that last bit of porn that you looked at was going to cause you to be exposed because, you teach small kids and you're looking at child porn because you have this addiction that you aren't trying to get the help for. When that last cry for help comes and your enablers don't come running to your rescue, that's when it becomes life or death for you. That's when if this thing doesn't kill you, physically kill you, or emotionally take you to a place that you can't handle, that's when you're going to have to stand up, dust yourself off, and start making the moves to get help for yourself. Because after a while, the enablers are not going to pay attention to your ongoing cry for help. And when you get help, you treat it like it's a joke. Now, that's for the addict. Enablers. You can't allow yourself to constantly put your life on hold. Whatever you got going on, you can't allow yourself to be so consumed with trying to help somebody who don't really want help in the beginning. You're putting everything else on the back burner to run to this person, and they don't want your help. They're not ready for your help. But you go running to offer it anyway. You got to stop and ask yourself, why are you enabling this individual? If you went 8 times and they didn't want the help, what really pulls you out 9 and 10 times? But enablers, you also have to remember that when you stop running to them and when you stop going and answering to those cries and something happens to that individual, It's not your fault. It's not. Every time you heard the cry and you felt the need, you responded. But there's going to be a time where you'll get tired of responding. You'll get tired of running up there. The people in that town, in my mind and my imagination, this boy way up on the hill in the trees. And these people way down in the valley. Every time he hollered, they running up there and he laughing. People get tired. You can't expect people to keep running to you and you aren't trying to do anything different. It's your problem. This is your boat. These are your uncharted waters. So if people are willing to get in this boat with you and help you, the least you can do is help yourself. And different versions of that fable, like I said, it was intended to help people to tell the truth. So going back to the little boy, we're going to use him as our addict in this thing. That little boy had to at some point recognize that I done lied about wanting this help so much, and I done treated it as a joke so much that now death is staring me at the door. This wolf, this addiction, this drug, this person, this gambling, whatever it is staring me in the face and it's getting ready to take my life. And the last time I'm crying out, help me. Y'all, for real, I need help. The wolf is here. I can imagine that cry was so different than the first 10 times that he cried out for help. But because people kept putting what they had going on hold to come help him, they got tired. So they ain't show up. And then now it's no more little boy. And so now the town people is talking. What happened to the little boy that was crying wolf? I don't hear him. I don't see him. His people out here getting dressed in black because now they got a service to go to. Or his people getting geared up to go admit him into a rehabilitation center because he overdosed, but Narcan was able to bring him back. Or his people are around here selling everything that they have because he lost everything that he had so that they can feed him and clothe him and to do whatever. These enablers are now preparing to take care of you because you didn't accept the help the first time you cried out for it and they came. Y'all, addiction is so serious. And you have to start asking yourself, is what I'm addicted to more important than what I need to sustain my life? What I need to be a mother to my kids, to be a wife to my husband, to be a daughter to my parents, or to be who I was created and designed to be? Is this thing that has this hold on me, is it really that strong? In substance abuse counseling, we recognize and we promote and encourage you to lean on your higher power. Is this addiction stronger than your higher power? You got to know who and what you believe in. You got to know where you're coming from and in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you're coming from. You got to be able to think this thing through. Little boy who cried wolf, the addict who kept asking for help but never took advantage of it. They don't know where they're going. They're in what we call a pre-contemplation stage. I know I have this addiction and I know I need some help. I'm going to sign up and I'm going to go to class. I ain't going to take no notes because as soon as I leave here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back to chasing the thrill of this thing that has this hold on me that I don't even realize I need this help. It's pre-contemplation. Or I'm going to keep crying wolf because I know somebody in that town going to come. The first time the whole town came. By the time I got to the 5th cry, half the town came. By the time I got to the 10th cry, I had about, 10 people from the town. So I got one more cry in me. Somebody is going to come. That's not always the case, y'all. And so out here in life, out here trying to be able to know, where you're going, where you want to go, what you need to drop off, that luggage, that stuff you need to to deal with, that stuff that's weighing you down, in order to be able to recognize it and to be able to deal with it and get it out of your way, you're gonna have to stop crying wolf. You're gonna have to stop going around the same people, visiting the same places, doing the same things. That stuff gotta change for you. And if it don't change for you, then you just coming on here having a real talk conversation with me for nothing. We can talk all day long. But at some point in time, if you're going to talk about it, you got to be about it. And if you're not ready, you just aren't ready. Just know that next hit could be your last. That next, whatever you give to this person that you want to be with so bad, and they turn their back on you and they treat you any kind of way, they not who you thought they were when you fell in love with them. Now they have no use for you, and you still out here trying to give whatever you got left to them, and you're not putting anything in yourself, and now you feel so low and so bad about yourself, you want to take your own life? We can't be addicted to attention from somebody that bad. Get you some help. Your life is not worth it. Your livelihood is what you could lose when you're addicted to gambling. It's not worth it. Everything that you have can be gone in a blink of an eye because you are in that stage of knowing that you need help, but not crossing the threshold to get it. And if you cross the threshold to get it, if you cry out for it, let the help you. But enablers, stop going every time you hear the cry. If you're in a relationship and you feel like you're the only one putting in and trying to make it work and trying to do it, whatever, stop. Stop putting yourself out there. If it's gambling, quit going. Quit. Play one of them games on your computer, something. Go get some Monopoly money. Stop. Or get the good sense to take care of all of your necessities and take what you have left and go. And again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm providing you with some interventions and some coping strategies and some things that you can do. You got to love yourself enough to know you can't kill yourself because somebody doesn't respond to you like they used to. Get up, knock the dust off your feet, and keep moving. Keep moving. There really is light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of us don't see it because we quit moving. If you stop in the middle of the tunnel, you're never going to see the light. So you can't stop. And enablers, at some point, you got to stop. But an enabler, when you stop and something fatal happens, do not own that because it wasn't on you. You did your part. Some of us want to do all of the parts because we want to be praised and we want to, I saved my baby. I got my baby off. No, you did it. Your baby got to do it himself or herself. You got to stop. You got to stop. And it can be heartbreaking. It can be hard. You can start feeling like you're supposed to, but you're not. You got to recognize what real help is, and Judge Mathis calls it tough love. You got to realize what real help is versus enabling. Because if it's a drug addict and or the person is a drug addict and every dime they get goes to the dealer, when they tell you they're hungry, give them some food. When they tell you the lights need to be paid and you really want to do something, go pay the light bill. Stop being an enabler. Gotta cut it out. Every time there's a cry for help, don't go. Because at some point, they're going to have to learn some stuff the hard way. And that's what real talk is. If you start knowing and you start doing and you see what's right, but you continue to do what's wrong, gotta learn them lessons the hard way. So, in this fable or in this story, you know, the focus was always on this little boy telling the truth. And so I say to those of you that are struggling with something, some type of addiction, if you're struggling with, you know, your mental health and you just don't know which way to turn, if you're struggling with your self-esteem, you don't know what to do, you got to quit lying to yourself and be honest enough to know that you need help. And when you cry out for help, when you find someone to actually go and start receiving the mental health services or counseling or substance abuse counseling, when you finally make that step to go, build your support team. And remember, your support team need to be your cheerleaders, not your fans. Because cheerleaders, they know the game. They learn the game with you. And when you fall down, they're there to help pick you up. The fan is going to look at you because as long as you're doing good, as long as you're functioning, as long as they can feed off of whatever it is you're doing, they good. But the minute you're not producing to their level of acceptance, they gone and you done fell down and you looking around for your fans and now they over here, you know, on somebody else's bandwagon. But the cheerleader with you win, lose, or draw. They're going to go to treatment with you if they can. They're going to help you work through the interventions and reach your goals. They're going to be a part of your treatment team meetings. They're going to tell your behind no when you want some money to go get some drugs, or they're going to see you with them people at them places doing them things, and they're going to pull you out of there. The enabler, on the other hand, is just like a fan. They just pacify you because they don't want to deal with you. They ain't got time. They want you out of their hair. But you ain't even sober enough or focused enough or you know, conscious enough to even know what's going on. So, it's like this little boy had to finally realize, I'm telling the truth and it's a different cry. But now it's too late. I don't want anybody out there to get to the point where it's too late. And those of you that are enablers, even if that last cry is one that causes you to still run, go. But this time, go with a different way of helping them. Go with a different mindset and go with the mindset to help that person and not look to be praised because you're doing something. Go because you want to see them get better. Go because now I done came up this hill 10 times. You get ready to bring your butt from down here and we get ready to figure out why you up here lying or why you up here playing with this wolf. If you're going to go. It's up to you. We all have choices, and with choices come consequences. And all I'm saying today, some real talk, is that the little boy who cried wolf, the addict, got to recognize that doing this thing, telling this lie, having these people stop what they're doing to come to my aid, and I'm not ready to get help, I got to cut it out. The enabler, I ain't got to come up this hill every time. I ain't got to do it. I'm here for you, but I don't have to be here for you in the ways that you want me to be here for you. Set limits, set boundaries. Keep it real with them. Because if I got to keep getting off my job to come get you out of jail or wherever else, what am I going to do when I don't have a job? You got to tell them. You ain't pacifying nobody. We're adults. We're grown. If I hurt your feelings, guess what? It's okay. I love you. And if I didn't love you, I wouldn't be talking. So what's up, guys? Had a little technical difficulties at the end of the video. And because I'm learning and it's real talk, we're going to post it as it is. But I'm going to close it out with a supplementary video that I'm doing now. Just to pretty much say to you that if you are or identify with the little boy who cried wolf, which we're calling the addict in today's video, if you identify with that little boy, it's time for you to get real with what you're struggling with and get you some help. If you're one of the townspeople and you are an enabler and or somebody that, contributes to this addiction and you're not helping this individual in a healthy way, I want you also to try to find some resources and try to find some help for the person so that they can come out on top when this thing is all said and done. So until then, I'll see you guys for our last episode of the week coming up on tomorrow. And thank you for joining me and bearing through this process with me and these technical difficulties. And I also want to thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing to get this content out there so that we can, continue to navigate through these uncharted waters together. Have these real conversations about how to get ourselves together mentally and be able to do everything else that we need to do for ourselves. Because remember, your mental health matters. If it matters to me, I need for it to matter to you. All right. Thank you.